Welcome back to our 13th episode of 22 and 22 series. Now we are reaching the top 10, and this is going to get really exciting because all of these teams have a potential chance at winning the whole thing. At number 10, we have the current 4 seed in the West, the Utah Jazz. Now, the Utah Jazz have always been a playoff lock the past few years, whether it be Gordon Hayward or Donovan Mitchell at the realm of the team. Now, this year, they have surprised a few people and done better than certain teams like the Rockets and the Mavericks, and they have continued to be a very good 4th or 5th seed level team. Headed by Donovan Mitchell, a 20 plus per game scorer who just made his first All-Star game, Rudy Gobert, who is the Defensive Player of the Year back-to-back years and has been excellent on defense this year so far. They have been doing really well. However, there's a few things which this team can still improve on, which is holding them back. Right now, their point guard, which they acquired in the offseason via trade, Mike Conley, has been performing very bad, especially early in the season. But off late, his performance has been a bit better. He used to be a 20-point per game scorer, and if Mike Conley is still the Mike Conley we knew, then maybe the Jazz would have a really good chance at getting into the second round or possibly upsetting the Lakers or the Clippers. Also, a huge miss which they have is that they lost a 20-point per game scorer, which was a pickup this offseason, Bojan Bogdanovic. He had a wrist surgery and is now out for the entire time that they are there. Instead, they have players like Joe Ingles and Royce O'Neal filling in for that position. Hopefully, the Jazz are going to be able to pick it up and still manage to keep around a 4 or 5 seed. I personally have them falling to the 5 seed in the Rockets and Thunder overtaking them, but I still think that they have potential for doing better. Now, looking at their schedule, there's a bunch of games which are easily winnable for this Jazz team. And you see games like against the Pelicans, the Thunder, the Grizzlies, and 2 games against the Spurs. So I think that this team, due to its variability and due to the loss of Bogdanovic and the competition between Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert over the recent virus situation, I think that they will go 4-4. I really like this team, and it's going to be a staple in the playoffs for the years to come. But I just hope that this team can get it together and have a decent run. Alright, this is the part of the video where we talk about what we think the Jazz will be and what we rank the Jazz among the other teams returning to the bubble. Now, for a few reasons, even though I really like this Jazz team, and they have a really deep team, I have them at 12. Now, I know this is quite surprising, especially considering all the good things I said about them earlier on, but in my opinion, teams like the Rockets and the Thunder, who have more complete teams, with players who they know are coming back at some point or another, whether it be Russell Westbrook for the Rockets or a just fully healthy team in the Thunder, they just look like better complete teams, and they've done better against some of the top teams before. Specifically, the Rockets have beaten the Jazz each of the last 2 years in the playoffs, and the Thunder are headed by Chris Paul in one of the most clutchest teams in the league and is barely affected by the virus at all. So I really like the Jazz, but I think the loss of Bogdanovic and the tension between Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell is enough to put this team a bit lower than they should be, but I still have them going 4-4, just quite respectable given their schedule.
Right, so in the first Triple Dub podcast we made, which you should all watch, by the way, I had them falling to the 6th seed, so it may come as a surprise that I actually have them at 10th in the power rankings. But the only reason I really have them falling to 6 is just because I think their schedule is somewhat more difficult than the teams around them, and I think they'll only really win 3 games or maybe 4, as Aki said. But I think when it comes to the overall just talent of this team, I think that they're better than both the Mavs and the Pacers. And we've seen this team, led by Donovan Mitchell, beat the Russell Westbrook and Paul George Thunder 2 years ago. And then it took a very strong James Harden-led Rockets team to beat them both last year and the year before. So I think that they could really be a force to be reckoned with in the playoffs, even with Bogdanovic out. So I actually have them at 10.
Yeah, I agree with Andy that the Jazz are at 10, but I think that Aki is really underestimating the depth of the Jazz because even though they don't have Bojan Bogdanovic off the bench, they have great scorers like Jordan Clarkson, who averages around 15 points per game, and he has put up 20 plus points in many other games. I think that he would be a very good replacement to Bojan Bogdanovic. And also, I think that Joe Ingles, like even though he's a little bit of a meme, I think that in all seriousness, he is also a pretty good scorer. He has pretty similar shooting percentages to Bojan Bogdanovic, shoots around 40% from the three and then 50% from the field, which are very good percentages. And I think that the Jazz will be able to recover from the loss of Bojan Bogdanovic. But in addition, I feel like we're all sort of sleeping on Rudy Gobert. And I think we need to keep in mind that he is the two-time reigning Defensive Player of the Year. And he also averages around 15 points per game at least, and then 10 rebounds, which is really, really good. He's a really good defender. He's a really good rebounder as well. I think that the Jazz are definitely very underestimated because they may not have the levels of immense talent or like this very big all-star player that some other teams do. But I think that the Jazz are very good and they deserve the spot at 10th in my rankings.
Well, there you have it. Just for reference, this team, the Jazz, the Thunder, and the Mavericks, were all super close in our rankings, but the Jazz ultimately come out on top at 10. Well, this is it for this episode of the 22 and 22 series. Leave a like and comment below what team you think we'll have at 9. This is us, the Benchwarmers, and we're signing off. See ya.